The sky was burning. The alien warships hovered over Earth's major cities, their massive shadows swallowing everything below. The invaders, known as the Exultar, had conquered dozens of planets before. Earth was just another easy target, or so they thought. Their leader, High Commander Vec, watched from his command ship. "These humans have no real defenses," he sneered. "End this quickly." The first wave of attacks began. Bright energy blasts rained down, turning buildings into rubble. The Exultar troops landed, expecting frightened civilians running for their lives. But something was wrong. The streets were empty. There was no panic. No screams. Then the first explosion hit. A Exultar walker, an armored war machine, stepped forward, and the ground beneath it collapsed. Hidden explosives buried under the roads detonated, sending the massive machine crashing down. Before the aliens could react, another blast erupted, destroying 2 more walkers. From the rooftops, human snipers appeared. They weren't just firing bullets. They were using advanced, reverse-engineered alien weapons. Stolen technology turned against its creators. Every shot found its mark. Celtar soldiers fell one by one. Commander Vec's eyes narrowed. What is this? They were supposed to be weak, but Earth had been preparing. For years, secret underground bases had been built. Military scientists had studied every piece of alien tech they could find. When the Exultar fleet arrived, Earth's leaders had already activated Project Phantom, a global counterattack plan designed for this exact moment. From the oceans, stealth submarines launched deadly missiles at the alien warships above. The explosions were precise, hitting weak points in their shields. Several ships cracked apart, crashing into the sea.I in the mountains. Hidden railgun batteries powered up. Massive metal projectiles, faster than sound, shot into the sky. They tore through the enemy fleet like a knife through paper. The Exultar were losing ships fast. This was no ordinary planet. This was a trap. On the ground, human soldiers used guerrilla tactics. They moved through tunnels, emerged from hidden bunkers, and struck hard before disappearing again. They weren't defending Earth. They were hunting. Panic spread among the invaders. They had never seen resistance like this. Commander Vec slammed his fist on the console. "Send in the Titan-class destroyers. Wipe them out." But the moment those massive warships entered the atmosphere, Earth's greatest weapon activated. The orbital disruptor cannon, hidden on the dark side of the moon, fired a single pulse. The sky flashed white. Every Exultar ship lost power at once. Their engines failed. Their shields dropped. They were floating targets. Earth's forces didn't hesitate. Fighter jets, ground-based lasers, and missile launchers obliterated the helpless enemy ships. Commander Vec's face turned pale. Impossible. His warship shook violently. Alarms blared. Damage reports flooded the screens. He had underestimated this world. The humans weren't just fighting back, they were winning. He ordered a full retreat. The surviving Exultar ships turned and fled into space, leaving wreckage behind. The mighty conquerors of the galaxy were now running for their lives. Vec's ship jumped into hyperspace. He sent a final transmission to his homeworld: "Do not return to Earth. We made a mistake." Back on the planet, humanity stood victorious. The invaders had come expecting an easy battle. But Earth had been ready. And Earth had fought back. The sky split open as massive alien warships descended through the clouds. The Zarkvash, a race of brutal reptilian warriors, had arrived to claim Earth. Their leader, Warlord Gorak, stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the planet below. "These humans will not fight," he growled. "They will run. They always do." His soldiers, towering creatures covered in thick armor, laughed. They had conquered dozens of worlds before. They had crushed weaker species without effort. Earth would be no different. The first wave of dropships roared through the atmosphere, landing in major cities. Zarkvash warriors poured out, expecting terrified crowds. But the streets were empty. No screaming civilians. No panicked soldiers. Only silence. Xorak frowned. Something was wrong. Then, without warning, the first explosion tore through the invaders. A hidden bomb, placed inside a parked car, detonated, sending alien bodies flying. More blasts followed. Roads collapsed, crushing enemy troops. Buildings, rigged with traps, exploded as soon as the Zarkvash entered. The silence was broken not by human screams, but by the howls of dying aliens. From the rooftops, snipers opened fire. Not regular bullets, special armor-piercing rounds designed for reptilian flesh. Zarkvash warriors fell, their thick scales useless against Earth's weapons. Still, Zorak was not worried. He had seen resistance before. "Let them fight," he snarled. "We will burn their cities to the ground." His orders were clear, no mercy. Destroy everything. The invaders moved forward, but the more they advanced, the more they died. Humans didn't fight in open fields. They used the cities as weapons. Every alley was a trap. Every ruined building was a fortress. Every shadow hid a soldier. Zorak's forces were being hunted. In the forests, human special forces launched hit-and-run attacks. In the mountains, hidden bases rained down missiles. In the oceans, submarines sank alien warships before they could reach land. The Zarkvash had expected a simple invasion. Instead, they were facing a nightmare. Frustrated, Zorak deployed his heavy troops, giant brutes in advanced exosuits. They were stronger than 10 men, nearly unstoppable. But the humans had planned for that too. As soon as the brutes entered the battlefield, a new threat emerged: drones. Small, fast, and carrying explosive charges, they swarmed the enemy. The Zarkvash tried to shoot them down, but there were too many. One by one, the brutes fell, their armor torn apart by relentless strikes. Panic spread among the aliens. This was not a war. This was a massacre. Zorak finally understood. Humans were not prey. They were predators. Realizing defeat, he ordered a retreat. But it was too late. Earth was not letting them go. As the Zarkvash ships tried to escape, a powerful EMP blast struck from orbit. Every alien ship lost power. Engines died. Weapons shut down. They were stranded. Human warplanes soared in, launching final attacks. Missiles struck the helpless warships. Fire lit up the sky as the Zarkvash fleet was torn apart. Zorak's flagship shuddered under heavy bombardment. Flames spread across the command deck. His warriors were dead. His empire had fallen. Before the final explosion, he whispered his last words: "We were the hunters." How did we become the hunted? Back on Earth, the soldiers watched the sky as the last alien ship burned and fell. They had come expecting an easy victory. Instead, they had found their worst nightmare. Earth stood strong. And the hunters would never return. The massive war fleet of the Zur Dominion entered Earth's orbit, their dark ships blocking out the sun. The Zur, a ruthless empire that had enslaved dozens of worlds, believed Earth would fall like the rest. Grand Marshal Vorik stood tall on the bridge of his command ship, watching the planet below with cold, red eyes. "This world is weak," he said, his voice filled with confidence. "They have no interstellar defenses. No advanced fleets. They are nothing but primitives clinging to their little planet." His officers nodded. Earth's technology was outdated compared to the Zur's weapons. Their plasma cannons could reduce entire cities to dust. Their energy shields were impenetrable. No world had ever resisted them. Vorik smirked. "Begin the attack." The first wave of ships descended, unleashing fiery destruction upon Earth's cities. Buildings crumbled. Highways shattered. The Zur soldiers landed, expecting the humans to surrender. But something was wrong. There were no crowds running in fear. No desperate pleas for mercy. Instead, there was silence. The cities, though damaged, were empty. The streets were lifeless. Then, the first strike came. From underground bunkers, hidden railguns fired massive projectiles into the sky, tearing through Zur warships like paper. The aliens barely had time to react before a second barrage followed. Explosions filled the heavens. Vorik's smug expression vanished. What is happening? On the ground, human forces emerged from hiding. Special forces wearing advanced exosuits moved like shadows through the ruined streets, striking hard and disappearing before the enemy could retaliate. Guerrilla warfare at its finest. Every street was a battlefield. Every alley was a death trap. The Zur, who had expected an easy conquest, were now fighting for survival. In the deep oceans, Earth's submarines launched hypersonic torpedoes, striking enemy carriers before they could deploy reinforcements. The Zur never considered that humans would weaponize the seas against them. In the mountains, hidden anti-air defenses locked onto enemy ships. Missiles shot upwards, weaving past alien defenses and striking their targets with deadly accuracy. Vorik watched in disbelief. They should be losing. How are they winning? The answer came in the form of a hijacked Zur battleship. Somehow, human hackers had taken control of one of their own warships. The massive alien vessel, now under human command, turned its guns on the enemy fleet. It fired without mercy. The Zur, caught completely off guard, were now fighting their own weapon. Fear spread through the alien ranks. This was no simple resistance. This was a war Earth had prepared for. Vorik clenched his fists. This planet is cursed. We must retreat. But retreat was not an option. From Earth's moon, a massive energy cannon charged up and fired. A single blast pierced through the Zur flagship, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. Vorik's ship shuddered, alarms blaring. Fires spread across the bridge. His officers were dead. His empire's might had failed. His vision blurred. His final thoughts echoed in his mind. They were supposed to be weak. They were supposed to be prey. But the warriors of the Blue Planet had proven otherwise. Back on Earth, the last of the alien warships fell from the sky, burning as they crashed into the oceans. The invaders were defeated. The Zur Dominion had learned a hard lesson. Earth does not fall. Earth fights. And Earth wins. The Thorexian Empire had ruled the galaxy for centuries. They had crushed countless civilizations, enslaved entire species, and expanded without fear. To them, Earth was nothing but another primitive world, waiting to be conquered. Grand Overlord HFY stood on the command deck of his massive warship, watching Earth through the reinforced glass. "This world is weak," he declared, his voice filled with arrogance. "Its people are small, fragile creatures. Their weapons are primitive. Their defenses are laughable." His generals nodded in agreement. The fleet, consisting of thousands of warships, hovered in Earth's orbit like a storm waiting to strike. "Begin the invasion," HFY ordered. The first wave of Thorexian drop pods rained down from the sky, smashing into Earth's cities. Soldiers in gleaming armor emerged, expecting a swift and effortless victory. But something was wrong. The cities were empty. There were no screaming civilians, no panicked soldiers. Just silence. Then the first explosion ripped through the streets. Hidden mines, carefully placed in key locations, detonated one after another. Entire enemy squads were wiped out before they could react. Then came the drones. Small, fast, and armed with advanced weaponry, they swarmed the invaders, striking with precision. The Thorexians, unprepared for such an attack, struggled to fight back. The first wave of the invasion was wiped out. Overlord HFY watched from orbit, his confidence shaken. What is happening?" he demanded. His generals scrambled to answer, but the reports coming in made no sense. Earth's forces weren't just fighting back. They were winning. From underground bunkers, human soldiers armed with reverse-engineered alien weapons launched coordinated attacks. In the mountains, railgun batteries fired at enemy ships, tearing through their shields. In the oceans, hidden submarines ambushed Thorexian warships. It wasn't a battle. It was a trap. For years, Earth had been preparing for this moment. They had studied every alien attack in history, learned from the mistakes of other fallen civilizations, and built weapons specifically designed to destroy invaders. The Thorexians had walked straight into their doom. HFY clenched his fists. "Deploy the warships." burn their cities to the ground. But as soon as his fleet entered Earth's atmosphere, something unexpected happened. The skies turned red. A massive EMP blast fired from the moon, shutting down every Phyrexian ship systems. Engines died. Shields collapsed. The mighty fleet that had conquered countless worlds was now helpless. Then came the final attack. Earth's fighter jets, armed with missiles designed to penetrate Phyrexian armor, soared into the sky. Ground-based railguns locked onto the disabled warships and fired. The fleet fell apart in minutes. Sivan watched in horror as his empire's greatest fleet was reduced to burning wreckage. Desperate, he tried to send a distress signal. No response. His homeworld had cut him off. They had seen the battle. They knew Earth was a death trap, and they had decided to abandon him. His ship trembled as explosions tore through its hull. Flames spread across the command deck. His empire had ruled for centuries, believing they were invincible. But now, because of one mistake underestimating Earth, it was all over. His final words echoed through the burning wreckage. "We should have never come here." As the last Phyrexian warship crashed into the ocean, humanity stood victorious. The greatest empire in the galaxy had fallen. And Earth? Earth was just getting started. The Exur Dominion had conquered thousands of planets. Their warriors, massive insectoid creatures with razor-sharp claws, were feared across the galaxy. When they discovered Earth, they did not see it as a threat. Supreme Commander Vex stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the blue planet below. His mandibles clicked in amusement. "They have no space fleet," he hissed. "No planetary shields. No defenses worth mentioning." His officers chittered in agreement. Earth was primitive. Easy prey. Vex raised his claw. "Begin the invasion." Thousands of drop pods rained down from the sky, smashing into cities, forests, and deserts. Legions of Exur warriors emerged, their armor gleaming under the sun. They expected panic. They expected surrender. What they got was hell. The moment the first wave landed, the ground erupted beneath them. Explosions tore through their ranks, sending alien bodies flying. The humans had booby-trapped entire streets, turning their cities into deadly mazes. Before the Exur could recover, the ambush began. From the ruined buildings, human snipers opened fire, each shot piercing through Exur armor. In the skies, attack drones descended like a swarm, unleashing precision missile strikes. The Exur were confused. This was not how invasions worked. Their enemies were supposed to flee, not fight back with deadly efficiency. Commander Vex's confidence wavered. "Deploy the heavy units," he roared. Massive Exur war machines, towering like giants, stomped through the battlefield, firing plasma cannons. The humans responded instantly. From underground bunkers, railguns fired, punching through the alien walkers like paper. Swarms of autonomous combat drones targeted weak points, dismantling the enemy forces piece by piece. Every Exur strategy was countered. Every advance was stopped. Panic spread among the invaders. Vex slammed his claw on the control panel. "Why are they not dying?" A scientist, trembling, gave him the answer. They knew we were coming." Vex froze. Humans had seen this invasion coming. They had studied alien warfare, predicted enemy tactics, and prepared. This wasn't an invasion. This was a trap. A desperate order rang out across the battlefield. Back to the ships. But it was too late. From the moon's surface, hidden defense stations activated. Orbital railguns and missile silos unleashed a storm of fire. One by one, Exur warships exploded, torn apart before they could escape. On the ground, the remaining Xur warriors ran. Their fearless invasion force had become a scattered horde of terrified fugitives. Vex, trembling, ordered his personal escape craft to launch. His once mighty fleet was reduced to a handful of survivors, fleeing into deep space. He sat in silence, staring at the burning planet below. Earth was supposed to be easy. Earth was supposed to fall. Instead, Earth had hunted them down. The last Exur ships disappeared into the void. One truth remained: Humanity was not prey. Humanity was the nightmare that empires feared.